العربية، فلنرحب بهم إلى المنصة.
Good morning. Very glad to be here. With me is Mr. Douglas Allard, partner in our office. We are based in Brussels and in Paris, and we are a non-specialized architectural office. We are very pleased to work on this. It's our first time in Oman, but we have since a long time a fascination with Arabic Islamic architecture. You see here a number of images that represent this fascination. We are fascinated by the orthogonality of the plan. We are fascinated by the sequence of typical spaces, typical typologies that you can see here, such as Liwan, the courtyard, and so on. And basically, our project is based on these typologies, and it not only on the architectural aspect of them, but also on the traditional techniques that have been used for ages to adapt to the climate. So you see here a series of issues that interest us very much. Maybe at the center, the most important one are the wind catchers that were used everywhere in the Arabic world before there was air conditioning. Also gardens, wadis, and so on, all of these techniques are integrated in our project. Basically, our project consists of a marriage between today's techniques and these traditional systems. The site is a kind of peripheral situation with two very large venues, the mall and the stadium. And today it is very much dominated by infrastructure, road infrastructure. But the potential is that it evolves later on into a more urban configuration, a more urban fabric. And also on this potential, our project is based. As you can see here, the scale of the new project is rather small compared to what already exists. It is also very much articulated and in fact directed onto the infrastructural venues that are already in place. And by using these very elementary orthogonal forms, cubical forms, we address the different scales of infrastructure so far. I will come back to that in detail. The site is irregular, and the program on it is quite vast, around 25,000 square meters. This is just a diagram, and the first move we propose is that this program is split, of course, at least in two, because there is a hotel and offices. But in this case, in order to address ourselves better to what exists already, we propose to divide the program in three parts, the two small ones being the offices and the big one being the hotel. The hotel is directed towards the boulevard, and the offices are directed in different directions towards the expressway. And this is how we configure the three elementary volumes. They create interstitial spaces, which you see here in white, and we have an explicit direction towards the existing, but also towards a new plaza that we propose in front of the entrance, which you see at the bottom of the image, which we propose as a main entrance to the offices. Then there is, of course, a difference in facades between hotel and offices. Offices have basically open floors with floors that stick out of the facade in order to protect the inside space from the sun, while the hotel has a more perforated volume. But more importantly they are wrapped or covered by a screen, a metal screen that runs all over the three volumes, of which some parts can be removed. For instance, in the interstitial spaces, we don't always need this curtain. A curtain that is in metal, that has a certain brilliance, that moves slightly with the wind, and that first of all protects the different functions from the sun. It is made of stainless steel, and I will come back to it later. So as you can see here, the three volumes are based on a plinth that is rather closed, that sits especially under the first and the third cube, while the middle one is raised and is a kind of a portico with a main entrance to the office spaces, which you see here. There is the middle volume is floating. There is a portico under it. There is the main entrance to the offices, and one walks towards the light that comes down from an atrium that sits in the middle here. And probably more important than the three volumes, which in an efficient way organize all of the demanded square meters, we propose a series of interstitial spaces that are based on these traditional typologies, like the Liwan, the Sahn courtyard, and the Riwak portico. And they wander through these different volumes. And what you see here is how the three cubes are organized around these collective spaces. On the right, you see the courtyard around which the hotel is organized. And it's not a simple orthogonal courtyard. It has a large window towards the city. It has a stepped facade on the back. And so the whole hotel is directed onto this very well tempered atmosphere of the courtyard. Then in the middle, there is an atrium on top of the portico, and in white are indicated these wind towers that we integrate to cool the offices. While on the right, there is a closed core, which contains basically the same kind of chimneys and all of the vertical circulation. A reference image for the courtyard. It is very intensely planted in our eyes, and it has water features in order to create a climate that is cooling the whole space with lots of rooms looking onto it from a facade made of masharabieh that cover the terraces that sit around. Then there is the Liwan, which is a space under the hotel, in fact in between the hotel and the office venue, with all of the pools, terraces, and in direct link with the courtyard on the right. And this whole space, this vaulted space, is surrounded by the mesh, so that it has a climate that is very well protected against the sun. Further on, there is this portico typology that we use for the entrance of the offices, which you see here. There is a drop-off situation here and an entrance to the parking garage. And one walks towards the entrance here, towards the light that comes down from the atrium. This is, again, a reference image for square atriums as they are traditionally used. And this is the way we interpreted this typology. We look here from the atrium towards the entrance of the office venue, towards the garden outside, and two sides are relatively closed with all the, they are basically the cores. They contain stairs, chimneys, and elevators, and two facades are open towards the inside, which show the offices. Altogether, these in-between spaces, they are, in our eyes, the main quality of the whole project. So, as you can see on the left, or at least in the middle, there is the atrium. Under it is the portico, and towards the right is the Liwan, that is the stepped space that you can see on top of the plinth. And on the right, there is the atrium, not atrium, the courtyard with its window towards the city. This diagram shows all of the functions together. Essentially, as I said before, the two small cubes are linked in between them and house all of the offices. They can be organized the way one wants. They can be open offices or divided into cells. While on the right, in yellow, you have the hotel with all the additional functions that are for quite a big part organized in the plinth. But also on the upper floors looking towards the city. And then there's 3 underground floors for the parking and techniques. This is the ground floor with the main entrance to the hotel on top of the image. This entrance is half raised above grade, and it gives a direct link to the ballroom that sits under it. Under this, on the plan, you see all the venues that have to do with sauna and so on. And they are directly linked through a stair that goes up towards the swimming pools that sit above. Then under it is the portico of the office floor with the drop-off in front of it and the small cube next to it. We go up, this is the courtyard level and also the Liwan level in blue with the swimming pool. As the middle office block is raised, there is a floor of structure that holds the whole venue. Here is, let's say, a typical plan. It's the 5th floor, where the plan of the hotel goes all around with suites at the top, looking towards the city again. And the last floor, finally, that contains a fine dining restaurant on the top level, among others. Again, the plans of the offices here, they indicate the different possibilities for internal organization. And finally, the underground floor that follows, of course, the structure that sits above the 3 inclined cubes. Of course, the structure of the office floor follows. It has a ramp going down in between hotel and office functions. This drawing shows the spatial configuration above the plinth of the hotel. As explained before, you see the swimming pool and terraces and other water features on the left, sitting in between the volume of the hotel and the offices, surrounded by the metal screen, so very well protected, and with an open connection towards the courtyard that is densely planted. The structure there is based on 4 cores that support the upper volume. And this image shows the link between the swimming pool and the courtyard that sits behind. An image that shows the 24 hours dining right above the plinth level, looking to the outwards facades, and the courtyard is here on the left of the image. This is one image that shows a room that looks onto the courtyard. Each room has its own terrace. There is Masharabieh in front of it, and there is direct views cut out of the Masharabieh, the sun screens. Another typical room is this one, looking outwards, again with an outside terrace and a diamond form window looking outwards with again the metal mesh in front of it. This is an image from the main access to the hotel. As said before, the drop-off is half raised above grade level. You go in, and there is the venue, the lobby, basically connected through a monumental stair with the floor above, where all the lounges and lobbies and 24-hour restaurants are organized. And above it, you see the large urban window from the courtyard towards the city. The curtain can eventually be removed, can be opened according to the most convenient situation wished. And this image shows an average floor of the office cubicles. As you can see, they are linked in between them, and together one office floor forms about 1,450 square meters. The one on the right is, as said before, organized around the atrium. It has two slices of longitudinal cores with the chimneys in it. And the one on the left is an enclosed core with spaces organized around it. This image gives an impression of the point where the two cubes are linked, and so together they form this big surface per floor. Again, an image of the access towards the offices, completely different, separate access from the hotel. They can completely function independently. I come back to these chimneys that we want to use for the cooling of the offices, but also in the organization of the garden outside. The role of water, the role of wadis to keep water, and also the use of local materials are for us a logical step towards sustainability based on tradition. And this image shows all the ingredients of our strategy into sustainability. So of which I cannot go in detail, of course, in this very short time that we have, but the basis for this sustainability strategy is that we use traditional techniques, and we enhance them with contemporary technology. For instance, here in the hotel, the climate of the courtyard, that is very well controlled through protection against the sun, through the planting, through the water features, the air of it is used to cool the structure of the hotel. As you could see in the hotel rooms, we have vaulted floors. And these vaults permit us to have canalizations through the building, through the floor, in order to cool the structure on a permanent basis. The air goes in on the courtyard side and goes out on the outside of the building. The same type of technology we use in the offices, where you see here again the chimneys that take in used air from the office floors, and that through the chimney function get the air to the outside, to the top of the building. In terms of materials, I already talked about the mesh that surrounds all of the buildings. There is differences in the facades. There is floors, office floors that stick out of the glass facade in order to protect them. And then a second protection is the mesh. We use rammed earth for the plinth. We use local stones. We intend to use white concrete, and we think that the walls could, of course they can be made in concrete, but we think they can also be made in rammed earth. So a combination of material that is both based on tradition and in combination with contemporary materials. This is just one image of the possible mesh. They exist in all kinds of different materials. They exist in different densities. All of this has not been precisely defined today. This example is simply made out of rings, but as I said, they exist in all kinds of different weavings in order to adapt in a perfect way to the requirements that we will find out later. And finally, this beautiful example of Masharabieh, we want to reuse in a contemporary way in the courtyard of the hotel, of which you see the image here. Thank you very much. It's not really on.
No, it's on. Thank you, Xavier, for that very good presentation. It's never easy being first, I think, but it was a great presentation. And it made it so much clearer having the presentation and seeing the original panels. I'd like to ask the jury members, does anyone have a question for Xavier? No, maybe.
Working. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate the original idea, the approach that your project gets inspiration from traditional local architecture. In particular, the use of Riwaq, Liwan, and Sahn. I have actually two quick questions, one at a philosophical level and other is in a practical level. In that traditional architecture, local architecture, the three elements that you used are connected and represent the hub that provide organization and order for the social life. In your project, you choose to separate them. Was that like driven by functional reasons, or you have a particular philosophy behind this?
In our eyes, they are not completely isolated. The Liwan, which is the water area in our project, it has a direct link with the courtyard that sits behind. That was shown in one of the images. And so they are really the public venues of the hotel where everybody comes together. And so one can walk simply from one to the other. Also in the case of the offices, the portico under the building is in direct relation through the entrance with the atrium that sits above. And in fact, it is the atrium that attracts people because there is zenithal light coming down there. So there is a kind of automatic move towards this central venue. So they are separated, but they are also linked.
Yeah. I see. Thank you for the clarification. Clarification is clear. Another question is the stainless steel curtain. What about maintenance, life cost?
There is no maintenance. It all depends on how well it is installed. What we imagine is that it is, which is not really visible here yet because it has not been worked out in detail, but the idea is that it is fixed on a grid of points onto the facade. It sits on a distance from the facade to be defined. It could be 0.5 meter or could be even less. And it never touches. And it is stressed over these different points d'accrochage, fixation points. So it will always move a little bit, but it will never make noise because it does not touch the concrete of the building. But basically, it does not demand any maintenance. Of course, they exist in many different materials. You can get them in aluminum. You can get them in stainless steel. We think the best will be to use stainless steel here. But yeah, all of this needs to be studied in detail.
Question?
Thank you very much for your presentation. I would just start with a point that I really liked, which is the crafting of the interior spaces, the negative spaces that you have created, quite interesting, and they do resemble the typologies that we have, how you have subtracted those masses from there, very interesting. I do have like a couple of technical questions. One is for the solar chimney. How do you think the functionality of the solar chimney, especially in the office building? So because it would be a functioning office building through, I mean the Bādqīr, the one that you spoke about, the wind catcher, but it is actually a solar chimney, right? The 4 parts that you have in the middle. So I have a question about the functionality and the amount of control you're giving to the people who are working in the office, whether or not they have the choice of switching it on and off, or is it like working throughout the day? So that part I need clarification about. And the other thing is the material that you use for the mishrabiyya. What do you have in mind in terms of the material? Because I see it's like pixelated. So is it like blocks of things connected together, or what is it exactly?
Okay, for the masharabi, we think at this moment it is made out of steel plates, perforated steel plates that are enameled. So the color that you see is in fact a very stable color because it is enameled steel. And I will let Doug answer on the chimneys.
Okay. Thank you very much. The principle of the solar chimneys is that it's combined with a passive ventilation system. So the office building would not be air conditioned, it's a displacement ventilation. So the air is conditioned at a very low air conditioning level. It rises through the floor. So we don't have traditional air conditioning units. It's then linked to the thermal chimneys. The thermal chimneys take this displacement air, which is 1 to 2 degrees less than the temperature of the office floor, and it's returned by the natural draft of the chimneys. So I would say the thermal chimneys work together with the ventilation system, which comes via the raised floor, to create a temperament which is basically always between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius. To stop the issues of and not having enough draft, natural draft in the chimneys, the thermal chimneys stop at the natural height limit of the building, but the top floor is not connected to the chimneys. So we still have a 5-meter draft for the chimneys. It's a system that we've proposed and used in a number of buildings throughout Europe, which is developed to effectively create a passive conditioned building. So it's not an air-conditioned building, but you can still guarantee a cool temperature in the building. In some ways, it's relatively complex, but the principle is very, very simple. And for us, it was extremely interesting to find a system which we've used in Europe in a high-tech methodology to actually find that the precedents were in Oman already in traditional architecture. So in some ways, that's, as Xavier said, this combining of low-tech, or let's say traditional ventilation techniques and cooling techniques, and high-tech techniques was already in some ways suggested to us. I don't know if I've answered your question, but if you wish a more technical discussion, I'm very happy to discuss relative temperatures. But what I would say is a system which is tried and tested and in place.
Do we have any more questions?
I find very interesting everything, in particular wise, let's say the grid and the reorientation of the cube. What I want to understand more, as my colleagues ask, is regarding the mesh, because while I see many, let's say, ventilation system, etc., from the other end, the metal mesh capture the sun and the glass that you have as well. So what I see and I want to understand better is that these two elements, from one side you have the tradition and the contemporary touch that are, from one side are very like silver tone, like green, and from the other one you have the earth and you have the stone, etc., etc. So if this balance completely is defined, or if the type of marble that you choose, for instance, here is something that is Omani, this is still a question that I have. And from the other one, the same balance between, let's say, natural ventilation, and that I love so much, the skin that you see that there is completely natural ventilation, and if it's completely feasible here in Oman, when outside we have some degree that is not Europe. So just if from your side you keep in consideration all the element of tradition and contemporary and the sustainability aspect.
I'll go ahead. Xavier may say something different. I think you said it perfectly, the combination of traditional and modern. And I think for us, the screen facade is exactly that. It's both a beautiful element, so we didn't want a building which was static, we want a building which reflected the sun and the light. It reflects back to traditional architecture in Omani, screen facades, and it is also an environmental device. It creates the shade, it creates these internal voids which sit within it. So I think it's both environmental, architectural, and I think it's also cultural. So that was our intention. It's a modern material, but we feel it reflects the traditional typologies that you would see in the historic architecture in Omani. I think for the rest, when you talk about the other materials, indeed, we find it a wonderful opportunity to combine materials such as marble and stainless steel. Omani marble is a beautiful material, and we would definitely see that these materials together form, in some ways, a historical reference, but they are indeed contemporary. I think we're very aware to try not to create a pastiche, and that would be for us extremely problematic. We are visitors here, and I think we are incredibly interested in the vernacular architecture, but we're not trying to recreate it. We're trying to reinterpret it into a modern building.
I completely agree. And what I said in the beginning about our fascination for Arab Islam architecture is that it is in fact very modern. I mean, these orthogonal plans, these sequences of spaces, this intense and rich relation between inside and outside, I think why we love this kind of techniques and typologies is because it is basically modern in our eyes.
Do we have more questions? Sorry, we're running out of time. I'm not going to give a question, but I would just again like to say how much I appreciated the way you dealt with the program on the site. I really love the way you dealt with those volumes, and they make a lot of sense. I think when we all first saw your presentation or your project hanging on the panels, we were a bit concerned about the amount of glass and how sustainable it would be. I mean, this is the first thing you see when you walk into the room. You say, my God, are these glass boxes in this temperatures? And how on earth is it possible to make it sustainable? I think you've really shown very interesting ways on how you deal with the sustainability, fascinating ways to deal with the sustainability. And of course, this is work that has been done in a few weeks or a few months, and it has to be worked out. And for instance, I could imagine with the overstecks and the offices, the cantilevers, the way the facade sticks out, they might have to be deeper, the mesh might have to be much more dense. But what I see is there is a building by Jean Nouvel in Qatar, the Burj, I think, Doha or something, which is also, he uses a kind of mesh around a glass box, and it works very well. So I really do have the belief that these issues can be solved technically. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I want to add one thing, that is that we did not work alone. We worked together with Bollinger+Grohmann to develop this thing, and also with Michel Desvigne, Paysagiste, so far. Thank you.